Let's talk about safety first, not safety last. Something stupid this way came on my last video that you caught the end of. That was me squirting myself in the face with a cylinder full of gasoline as I was attempting to clear a flooded cylinder. I underestimated the volume of that cylinder and how quickly that piston would displace flooded gasoline. It came out rather violently, got me right in the face, got me in the eyes, got me in the mouth, got me in the nose. Pretty messy. No permanent damage, just a reminder that even when you got gray hair, like gray hair mustache, you can still learn and you still make stupid mistakes. So, safety first. Goggles on. Now, what I've done to fix to follow up along those lines, I've made a better connections at the pump, no more sparking going on down there, which was a source of ignition. Thank God that didn't happen after I got doused with gasoline. And I've taken all the spark plugs out, so nothing will get in there. And whenever I bar an engine over now, I'm always making sure I'm on the other side of the spark plug hole. Put something, a towel down, something to keep anything that might be necessary. Maybe just air, just anything. Keep those spark plug holes. Assume that's the barrel of a gun, and you never know if a gun's loaded or what. So for now on, those spark plug holes look like a barrel of a gun to me. So I'm not going to get anywhere near them with the possibility of them going off. So we got that. We lessened that lesson. But now we're back to the fix. I wanted to confirm that spark injector, that fuel injector, is no longer sticking, and the system should hold pressure. If you recall, my first test, I was kind of nonchalant about it not holding pressure. Well, that was, again, me being a little overly nonchalant. So now I'm going to check to see if it's holding pressure. And furthermore, I wanted to visually confirm no leak status from those fuel injectors. So what I did was I loosely unbolted the intake manifold so I can actually see what's happening. I actually slipped some paper down in front of the injectors. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Maybe it'll make it a little bit clearer. Then we're going to fuel it up and we'll see how well it holds pressure. All right, so let's do this first. This is what I'm talking about. I unbolted the intake manifold. Now on an L series Z car, it's a reverse flow head, so your intake and your exhaust are on the same side. And if you undo 14 millimeter intake only bolts that the exhaust manifold doesn't share, and then you loosen the 6 or so bolts that the intake and the exhaust share, you don't have to take them out, just loosen them. You'll be able to get some play and move the exhaust manifold back and forth. And what I did was I backed it off and I've inserted, I could actually see, but to confirm that I put these paper cards right in front of the fuel injectors. So the idea here now is I will go run the fuel pump, let it pressurize, and then pull those paper cards out and see if there's any squirting going on. Because with all the injectors turned off, nothing should happen, nothing should come out. And we should be able to hold some pressure. I've already done this once, so this isn't, full disclosure, this is not a first time test. So there will be some pressure sitting, I think, in that fuel gauge right now. I don't know how much, it still drops, but it's not drastic. Yeah, we're still sitting at 20 plus PSI now. That's after several minutes of it just sitting here. Remember before, it was going all the way down to 0 within really a minute. So first we'll fire the pump, we'll check the PSI. While the pump's running, I'll pull those cards out. So, go ahead and fire the pump. We're right up to back to our 39 PSI again. So it's running and it's maintaining the pressure. So now the big question is there anything coming out of the injectors? Dry. Dry. I had to chop that out to get around the exhaust manifold. But believe me, the paper itself is directly in front of the nozzle. Remember, this number 1 is where I was having the issue. Clean. So I'm not I'm not pumping any gas into the intake manifold. Nothing's coming out of the injectors. Everything's working as it should. We're at full pressure. And I'm going to disconnect the pump. And remember how this thing dropped pretty quickly too. Now I'm at 32, and I can tell you that from my last experience, I think that'll be, 5-10 minutes before it drops down to where it was, 20 so. And this is what I was telling you before. This is not uncommon. I mean, the tiniest little bit of a leak in this system here, in the, I'm not leak, but a drain back through the pump, through the pressure regulator. Even theoretically, I think if you squeeze the lines, let's see. Yeah, see, that's me squeezing the line. So it doesn't take much for the pressure to drop off, but that's a good sign. That means everything's holding. And as I said before, I see no evidence of any kind of leak. We'll pull this out again. Completely dry. Nothing's shooting out of that injector. Completely dry. I hope I'm getting this on the camera. One more. Completely dry. So what that means is I feel confident now that the injectors are doing what they're supposed to do. That is, they are retaining the fuel back. I know they work because I can fire them right now and probably drain that pressure down real quick, but I'm not going to do that. There's no reason to. When I first got the injectors, I put them on. I tested them, I fired them all. The pendulums moved up and down. Everything was fine. I don't know why number one was stuck. I don't know what that was all about. Whatever. It is what it is. So the next part of the process is I'll put all the bolts to 14 millimeters back in, tighten the 12s or 13s, whatever they are, down the exhaust, get all that back, get that manifold back secured like it should be, and then I can move on with life. I'll have to get back to figure out a way to attach the FSM. That'll be the next biggest hurdle, I think, because that requires some fabrication. And then it's a matter of hooking up the ignition coil, hooking up the transistor to fire the ignition coil, and attaching all the wiring for everything as far as the injectors and that said ignition coil and all the sensors. So ways to go, but I just want to let you know everything's okay. It wasn't a disaster due to, I got lucky with no spark. But learn my lesson. Do not underestimate the need to wear these things. Checking here. I'm still at 30 psi, by the way, and you remember how fast it dropped off in the first videos. So I'm going to close it down now, get everything disconnected, and let this drain off. There's a provision in this pump, in this fuel gauge. I'm not going to do it. You press this black button on it, and it discharges all the fuel that's built up in there. I'll take care of that. But yeah, we're pretty much good to go. Oh, I also, just for fun, I'll do it right now. I'll get the camera rolling. I will bar over. This is how you should bar over an engine, by the way. You'll notice I'm not sticking my mug right in the middle of it. This time we're going to stand on the far side of the engine over here, and I'll just shoot the camera with gasoline if there's any in there, which I am quite sure there's not. But all good to go. No gas coming out. Are we building pressure? Number one. Number two. Number three. Four. Number six, sorry. So, no fuel coming out of any of those plugs, any of those holes, so nothing's in there, no residual gas. And you'll notice I stayed on the other side of the engine. Another alternative would be to simply throw, something like a blanket or something over here to stop anything from shooting out, but I think you're pretty safe. As long as you stay on the opposite side of those plug holes, you're good to go. Don't go down range of a shooting gallery, all right? That's basically the bottom line. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.